in buck. Woman pikin dey the street dey hawk. Still dem talk say make we no talk, but thank God say Mayegun don come. So my people make you loud, oh yo yo, Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. My people make you shout, oh yo yo, Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun diary politico, oh yo yo. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Hello there.
Làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are joining me from. It is Mayegun Live. One true emperor. To every one of you joining me, you know what to do. Read the caption of the broadcast, the description of the broadcast. Invite your friends and then your not so friendly friends. Like the broadcast as well. So tell everyone, Mayegun today. Consider it as our Sunday sermon as well, which is our no holds bar session, where everything is laid bare to everyone or for everyone to see. So if you have a very soft skin, if your skin not deep or thick enough, this broadcast may not really be for you. If you are the type that has been somehow socially conditioned to believe that there are some unseen hands behind the failed country that these criminals are forcing on us, this broadcast may not be for you. I am talking about those of you who really are so religious, everything religion. And I don't want to offend you. We do not really want to offend anyone, except those who secretly sort of love and support and protect or defend these rogues. If you are a politically correct person, you better log out now. Another basic, another generations already committed, another generation's a future mortgage for your life. So motivate be motion day to raise an alarm that you are likely never going to react to. But there is something on Mayegun's diary political that a lot of people have come to realize. It is choice, it is by choice to be ignorant. For those of us who have been dealing in the political developments, upheavals and all that concerning Nigeria, we do know something though, that as you are pointing at those criminals making the decision and ruining lives, they also have enablers too. The enablers are also Nigerians and others. So in this regard, we have figured out that it is not just Mayegun's diary political that has to tell us what is going on in Nigeria and how all of this affects us directly and indirectly. We realize that everybody knows, but not everybody chooses to admit it, because a lot chose to live in denial simply because of their own role in all of this. So when you are dealing with Nigerians, have it at the back of your mind always. Every negative, horrible things that they have managed to normalize in Nigeria. Remember this, brethren, that Nigerians do not hate corruption. Nigerians do not. In fact, in fairness, let's use some or many Nigerians do not hate corruption. Many Nigerians do not hate oppression. Many Nigerians do not really detest all this existence of violence. Majority of them are just not happy that they are not the ones doing the oppression, doing the corruption, doing all these vices. And that is why most Nigerians, if something is not, or something has not happened to them, they are unbothered. In fact, they can go to as far as denying such existing. That's Nigerians. I don't know about other Africans, though. In case if you're an African, and some are all I have listed so far are in a way synonymous to the people of your country. Well, now you have what do you call it? You have a textbook example of how a rotten establishment is put together, is nourished, sustained, and continues to claim its victims at all fronts. We know this. You know it. I know it. A lot of us will choose selective amnesia. Oh, I don't remember that. Oh, I forgot. No, you did not forget. It is simply because you choose to forget. Let us forget about that one, Jari, and move on. How did you move on from being a victim of state-sponsored terrorism? How do you move on? Is it because you are not a direct victim? So it's easier to move on. So this is why it is. So Mayegun's diary political, as much as it is not possibly getting all of the supposed attraction it should get, but it continues to water the souls, the saved souls that will never lie to themselves again. I am talking about the souls that not only knows about the rot in Nigeria and how they are directly and indirectly affected. I am talking about the souls that have renounced this social conditioning. Let us pray. Oh, they are looting your money. You know what? Let us just pray for them. Oh, the terrorists are, they are growing in leaps and bounds. Hey, I'm so tired. You know something? We know that God will help us. Let us pray to God to come and change the mind of the terrorists. These are the kind of social conditioning that are synonymous to an average Nigerian. And listen, whenever you are trying to kind of start a proper conversation that's like, a proper conversation around the issue where you expect people to be sincere with themselves, they would throw God into it. My dear brothers and sisters, when the typical socially conditioned Nigerian becomes so confused as many are and lost as many are, they quickly throw God into it. That's them putting their hands up. Oh, Baba, there's nothing we can do, Jare. We will just make noise and make noise and make noise. These people no send us. These people they no care, Baba. All we have to do is let's just pray to God. May God just come and intervene. They know there is no God that is going to intervene. No, they know. It is an attitude of putting your hands up. Kilo shake. What can you do? Okay, they are stealing the money. Okay, what are you going to do about it? Oh, they are rigging your elections. So what are you going to do about it? Oh, the judges are corrupt and they are giving their judgment to the highest bidder. And now she is Nigeria. Oh, Baba is Nigeria. What are you going to do about it? You can only cry, you can only scream. But on Mayegun's diary political, even if the number is still not that huge, if the number is minute, there are saved souls here. The souls that no longer falls for that social conditioning. I'm talking about souls who have actually seen that light. And every day in the temple of truth, we water their souls, we water their hearts, we water their consciousness with an updated truth. Truth that will keep them more sane, so that they will never fall back into that trap, which is that of Nigeria. The moment they begin to tell them unity and Africanism and this and all that nonsense, while people continue to wallow in the pit of lost identities, this platform does help. You know what I mean? Gives you a kind of a closure. And if you are being honest with yourself, I promise you, you will never fall into any of their lies and deceit and then giving up again. So that is why when we tell you, or when you do know that it's a normal thing, they're still in Nigeria, it's no big deal. Let's just pray to God so that God can at least touch their hearts, so that they can remember the poor people, because there's nothing they can do. But there will be something to be done. The reason why so many believe there's nothing they can do is because they are not really armed with the right information to understand that Nigeria, that these criminals have sort of forced on us, is a weapon fashioned against you, fashioned against your jobs, fashioned against your livelihood, fashioned against your businesses, fashioned against your family, fashioned against your children, fashioned against your dignity as human being. These guys have turned your supposed country, they have turned it and its entire structure against you. You are walking or you are swimming against the tide, and a lot of people are drowning along the line. Future of young people have been completely shattered. And I'm talking about millions of lives. This is how they do it. First, you have no power to elect your own leaders. And you know one thing, the moment you do not really have power to choose who represents you, you automatically, you are considered a slave who has no real choice, whose life is dictated for him. And in fact, he dare not go out of those dictates. If you dare, there are rules of the kind of punishments that will be meted at you. So you shouldn't go out of that line. Don't challenge it. Just take it. And that's what the system of Nigeria, that's what it represents. Make them feel like they have a democracy. Like, democracy, government of the people, by the people, and for the people, so that they can choose their own representatives. Now, if their own representatives in government goes or does anything against their wish or will, then they hold that power. The power to what? To take away that sovereignty from them again and give it to other people. You see, that freedom of choice is what they said makes democracy unique. What do you have in Nigeria? The demonstration of craziness, madness, where mad people are taking over the asylum. So what do you have in return? You have drug dealers, money launderers, human traffickers, rapists, serial murderers. I'm talking about serial killers, ritualists, cultists, all kind of horrible crimes that you can think of. Men of the underworld, they call them. In Nigeria, they are living above the world, above the law. And those are the people who are now making laws for the rest of the country. They do not obey their own laws because they are totally above it. Men of the underworld, they were never to be seen, because the day you see them, it could be the day they are being held responsible for their crimes, the crimes that is called underworld crime, drug dealing, prostitution, human trafficking, terrorism, money laundering. All these things are crimes that nobody ever should ever be rewarded for it in public until they got to Nigeria. And now you have fraudsters, scammers, ritualists, cultists, all horrible kind of human beings are now those in charge of the country, from the local government levels, right, straight to the state, then to their federal level, all occupied by all different kind of criminals. And what do you have in return? A failed country, poverty capital of the world, where lunatics have taken over the asylum. Guys, it is a place where anything goes. Nobody is held responsible. It is a theater of absurdity. And to make the matter worse, it is also a contraption that sort of pride itself of having a lot of educated people. I'm talking about educated people that are supposed to actually know more. In fact, educated people that people believe will lose more are those who are championing this ruinous elite in Nigeria. Now, the country they gave to all of us that we should be proud of is a country whereby you could go missing any moment that we're watching this video. Yeah, it is a place where terrorists are rewarded and pardoned, activists are jailed. That is the contraption you have. It is a contraption whereby, the journalists who report on smuggling syndicate at your different borders, your borders was supposed to be the border that keeps you or keeps all evil away from you. Drug smugglers shouldn't be able to smuggle their drugs into your country so freely, so cheaply, and so conveniently. I am talking about all other smugglers, gun runners. Nigeria have more guns than human beings. Can you even believe that? Yeah, it prides itself as a country of over 200 million people, but maybe they have like 400 million guns. They don't even have a clue of how many guns and in whose hands are these guns? Because you have no border, a corrupt one. Guess what happened? The journalist was almost declared wanted by their own police, while the real smugglers, the syndicates comprising of the hierarchy of the Nigerian custom down to the bottom of them, they were there walking free. So that's what you get when you have criminals who have hijacked your system. I think we had a name for it then. We did have a name for it. State capture. The state capture is where, your entire system, institutions that were supposed to hold the society together have become so compromised, open for the highest bidder. That means you don't have any country anymore. A lot of us knew this a while back, by the way. And we were so convinced that except something is done and done now, right now, the end goal is that Somalia, as they say, will likely be much like a paradise. So some of you loudmouth, lousy Nigerians, from a contraption led by criminals, but you want to propagate a great country to the rest of the world and then act surprised when we are treated exactly what we wanted the world, or how we wanted the world to treat us. And we are surprised. Why are you always like focusing on Nigerians? They don't even respect Nigerians. They don't even like show this. I don't know why they hate Nigerians. Everywhere you go with your green passport, they treat us with so much disdain and all of that. These are the educated, supposedly educated, well-traveled, exposed people, Nigerians, who continue what? To give backings to rogues, criminals. I'm talking about educated, well-traveled, exposed people that are also, that's to the rest of the world. But back in their contraption, they are ethnic, betas. They are, tribal jingoists. They are religious fanatics. These are a bunch of people that ordinarily, if you are doing research on countries that never should have been created, people that should never have been made to become one country, please make that your thesis, make Nigeria the subject of your research. And you will see the truth about a contraption where all we do is lie to ourselves and then wait for our turn to deplete the contraption until its final breakup. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I've always wanted to let that out anyway. So why am I telling you all of this? Since the contraption has been taken over by different kind of rogues from every part of that contraption, like Nigeria. So the whole thing is pretty much about like a bazaar. I mean, 8 years. Listen to this. So before these rogues came in, there was this report. Nigeria economy is the biggest in Africa. Why? How? Nigeria, the biggest economy in Africa, somehow could only generate 8,000 megawatts of electricity for the entire 200 supposed million people. And the giant of Africa, the biggest economy, that is over $500 billion. For some reason, it could be bigger. In fact, Nigeria economy was rated as, a top 3 fastest growing economy in the world. They rated Nigeria economy along that of China. Then there was this operation, bring in the jihadists. And good luck, Egbere Jolanta. Mind you, the economy that they said they rebased for over 500 and something $billion. They said if corruption was to be reduced, if if the violence of Boko Haram at the time was no longer there, that economy stood a chance of becoming like over 3 trillion economy. Sounded good. Then the APC, Egbekegbe came. Baba, Nigeria's foreign debt was put at the time 13.5 billion US dollars. Okay, Nigeria exchange rate and all of that. I don't know if I should repeat all of that because it's important, right? So that I can tell you the one. Okay, now Nigeria exchange rate then officially was 145 naira to a single dollar back then. Okay, 8,000 megawatt electricity, distributing 5,000 megawatt electricity, still so inadequate, right? But they had an economy and a roadmap that possibly, if half of it was followed at the time, Nigeria could possibly still be poor, okay, still corrupt, but not this like multi-dimensional, excruciating poverty that you are currently facing, and the threat of further of that is facing Nigeria today, okay? So a little bit reflective, but people felt like they deserved more. Good luck, Egbere Jolanta the people around them, they were stealing money. They were stealing, they were buying properties. They were buying cars. Jonathan hated the poor people. He cannot even protect the people from Boko Haram. Nigeria was so much in debt. How could we be exchanging a dollar for 200 naira to a dollar? Could you be buying a liter of petrol for 87 naira, a country that is producing crude oil? They sha bombarded everybody with all of this, okay? And there was no time that Bokwari told them what or how or why it was better than, or it will be better than Jonathan. Now these people, they talk say, Jonathan called